Okay. So as I mentioned, we want to clean this thoroughly first. We don't want any rubber or oils on the rubber to prevent it from sticking. And what I'm using is non-chlorinated brake cleaner. You don't want the chlorinated. That'll pretty much destroy any surface that it's sprayed on. Non-chlorinated, it's still a strong cleaner, but it doesn't destroy the surface. Okay, this is going to dry pretty quick. This is not proper paint technique, but I just want to get the cleanser off there. Okay, so it's starting to dry off, pretty much done. So what we're going to do now is take some painter's tape, cut a pattern to it, and apply it to the surface. There we go. Pretty much stuck to it. I'm just going to set the heat gun over here. We're going to... Now less is more. When you're spraying this, you don't want a heavy coat because you want it to just bake into the rubber. You want it to melt into the rubber. Put it on too heavy, it's going to want to peel and crack later. So we're just going to go dark enough to give us the tone that we're looking for and no more. And again, I'm doing both sides just so we can compare the results. Alright, so I've got pretty good coverage. I always want to clean the nozzle of the can so that it doesn't gum up later. And so you can start to see this dry. Let's go ahead and take this stencil off. There we go. So we've got our pattern, and it's almost dry, a little bit wet still here up at the top. I'm going to use the heat gun to melt it into this side. And what you're going to notice is this is a pretty flexible area. Last time I painted this, it just peeled right off. So once it gets baked in, it's going to actually stick pretty well. Okay, so we're going to set this on high. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's starting to get red hot. Let's see if you can see this. I'm going to get pretty close to the paint. I'm actually going to move over to an area so you can actually see it flash off. But you're going to want to move slowly. You can actually see the red glow on the surface. It does not melt, or at least it's not melting the rubber on my grip, and it didn't on my code grip for the 1022. So let's go right here. And you're going to see how it flashed off there on the point? It's burning right off. It's starting to smoke a little bit. You know it's gotten too hot. Anyway, you don't have to redo the whole grip, that's part of the character. So now I'm just going to go about 2 inches away on a diagonal. You don't want the heat to hit directly on it. You want it to kind of bounce away. But you want it to get a good melt. And if you noticed, I did not stop the camera, so it doesn't take long for the paint to dry. Once you peel off the stencils, you can start cooking it. Now it does take a few minutes for this rubber to cool down, so you're not going to want to test it out until it's had a chance to cool sufficiently. And we also want to give the other side a chance to dry. And notice how long I'm keeping the heat on it. Again, we're trying to melt the paint right into the rubber. Again, I'm on the high setting, so it should be at the nozzle about 1,000 degrees. I don't think it's necessary to test it. We'll show you how hot this is. Let's put it next to the paper. Starting to burn the paper really quick. So you want to keep it moving, you want it to get hot, you want it to melt, but you don't want it to burn. That should do it. There we go. If you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what we've got is the stencil, the paint. It's going to be warm, so we're going to let it cure. And then this has also just been painted, it hasn't been heated. When we come back after it's had a chance to dry, we'll finish this up.